Welcome to West Virginia Media Lab's Side Hustle Saturday. Your go-to spot for real side hustles that can grow into six-figure businesses. No fluff, just legit ways to make extra cash. Now let's get to work.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Ready to explore how to make money on YouTube or TikTok without ever showing your face?
Sign me up.
Today, we're diving into this whole world of faceless content with, get this, faceless YouTube and TikTok domination. The no-fluff, step-by-step guide to earning passive income with AI.
That title is quite a mouthful.
It is, but this guide is jam-packed with actionable strategies for using AI to build an online business, even if you're, camera shy. Let's unpack it.
Sounds good to me. Where do we start?
Well, the guide jumps right into leveraging viral content. It's not about copying, though, more like taking what's already working and spinning it in your own unique way,
Ah, I see. Kind of like those restaurants that take a classic dish and make a gourmet version.
Exactly. It's all about putting your own creative stamp on something that's already proven to be successful.
Makes sense. So where do we find these viral gems?
The guide recommends checking out places like, obviously YouTube and TikTok, but also Instagram. You'd be surprised what you can find there.
Okay, so say we found a video that's already going viral. What's next? Do we need to hire like a whole team of writers and voice actors to recreate it?
That's where the beauty of AI comes in. This guide shows you how to use AI to handle a lot of that heavy lifting.
Wait, so AI can write the scripts for us?
Not just that, it can even generate realistic voiceovers so you don't have to worry about using your own voice.
Hold on, AI that can write A&D talk. This is getting pretty futuristic.
It might sound that way, but this technology is becoming more and more accessible every day. And the guide even recommends specific AI tools like Heijen and Synthesia to make it even easier to use.
So it's like having a team of digital employees working 24/7.
Exactly. But, let's be realistic. Attention spans are shrinking. How do we make sure our videos are engaging enough to keep someone's interest? Especially on platforms like TikTok, where everything moves so fast.
Good point. You have to capture their attention right away.
Right. So is it all about packing as much information as possible into those precious few seconds?
Right.
Or is there a different approach?
Well, this guide talks a lot about the power of short-form videos. Think quick cuts, eye-catching transitions, and, this one's important, captions. Apparently, a lot of people watch videos on mute these days.
Really? I had no idea so many people watch videos without sound. So are captions really that important?
Huge.
Yeah.
The guide says something like 80% of people watch videos on mute. So yeah, if you want your message to get across, you need those captions.
Oh, wow, 80%. I guess I've been living under a rock, so it's not just about the information, it's about how you present it.
Exactly. It's got to be visually appealing, even if they can't hear it.
Yeah.
It makes them stop scrolling.
Okay, I'm getting it, but let's be honest. It's not just about views, right? We want to actually make money from these videos, like real money.
Of course. And the guide actually goes beyond just views. It dives deep into all sorts of monetization strategies.
So we're talking more than just ad revenue because, let's face it, ad revenue can be pretty unpredictable.
You're telling me. This guide talks about things like brand sponsorships and affiliate marketing. Those can be much more reliable.
So we're basically building multiple income streams from our faceless content.
Exactly. It's all about diversification. But there are some key things you need to focus on if you want to actually make that happen.
Like what? Give me the inside scoop. What are some of the biggest takeaways you got from the guide about making money with faceless content?
I'd say one of the most important things is to treat your faceless content like a real business.
Okay, so we're not just posting random videos and hoping for the best. We need a strategy.
Right. A real strategy. You need to be consistent, analyze what's working, and constantly be learning and improving. It's not a magic button, but it's a path to building something that can last.
So it's like any other business. You have to put in the work and be strategic about it.
Exactly. It's not just about going viral once. It's about building a brand that people trust and want to follow.
I like that. So speaking of building a business, I noticed the guide specifically mentions West Virginia entrepreneurs. What's the connection there? Why is West Virginia mentioned specifically?
Yeah, that caught my eye too. It talks about how West Virginia has this unique advantage for online businesses.
Really? Like what?
Well, for one, the cost of living is much lower here than in, big cities.
True. That's definitely a plus. Anything else?
It also mentions a growing community of creators here in West Virginia. And of course, with online business, you can reach a global audience from anywhere with an internet connection.
So it's like West Virginia has this untapped potential for digital entrepreneurs.
It seems that way. But let's get down to the real question here. Can someone actually make a living doing this? Can faceless content really lead to, financial freedom? Or is it all hype?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What does the guide say?
It doesn't shy away from that question at all. The guide says that the potential is definitely there, but like any business, it takes effort and, importantly, patience.
Okay, so it's not some get-rich-quick scheme, which I think is a good thing. It means it's a real opportunity to build something sustainable.
Exactly. It's about creating something you're passionate about and sharing it with the world. And who knows, maybe even making a good living from it along the way.
So where do we start? This guide is packed with information, so I'm ready to jump into the specifics.
Well, Chapter 1 dives right into the idea of using existing viral videos as inspiration. Sounds kind of counterintuitive, right?
I was just thinking that. Why start with someone else's video instead of trying to come up with something completely original?
It's all about understanding what already works. Think of it like this. If you were opening a restaurant, wouldn't you research what dishes are popular in your area before creating your menu?
That's a great analogy. So we're not copying, we're researching, and then adding our own unique flavor to the mix.
Precisely. It's about leveraging proven concepts and then injecting your own creativity and personality to make it your own. The guide even goes so far as to suggest specific hashtags to help you find that hot content in your niche.
That's smart. So where should we be looking for these viral treasures? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Where do we start?
The guide recommends focusing on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube Shorts. These are the places where those viral videos are just waiting to be discovered.
Okay, I'm with you so far. But once we found that perfect video, how do we download it? And how do we avoid any copyright issues? I don't want to get sued by some TikTok influencer.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the guide covers that too. It talks about downloading content ethically and legally. There are even specific tools you can use. But the big thing is, you have to edit and modify the content to make it your own. Significantly.
Okay, so no slapping my logo on someone else's video and calling it a day.
Definitely not. This guide is all about respecting copyright. The idea is to take inspiration and transform it into something unique. It's like taking a classic song and creating a remix. It's still recognizable, but it has your own distinct style.
That's a good analogy. Okay, so we've downloaded our inspiration video and we're ready to make it our own. But before we get too creative, we need to extract the script from that video, right?
You got it. Chapter 2 breaks down exactly how to transcribe that script. And there are some pretty clever methods for getting that text out of the video. Like, if it's a YouTube video, you're in luck. They have a built-in transcript feature right in the settings.
Seriously, YouTube already has the script ready to go. That's way too easy.
It is pretty convenient. But if you're working with a TikTok or Instagram video, you might need to use an online transcription tool. There are some good ones out there, both free and paid.
And I'm guessing if all else fails, there's always the option of just manually transcribing it ourselves, right?
You could, but fair warning, it can be pretty tedious, especially if you're working with longer videos. Sometimes, though, good old-fashioned typing is the best way to get a truly accurate transcript. It's up to you.
Okay, so we've got a transcript.
Mm-hmm.
Now here comes the real challenge.
Yeah.
How do we rewrite it without losing that viral magic?
That's where the fun begins. The guide outlines 4 key areas to focus on when you're rewriting that script.
Lay it on me. What are they?
First up, you got to change the wording and sentence structure significantly. Don't just swap out a few synonyms. Really dig in and make the language your own.
So it's not just finding a slightly different way to say the same thing. We're talking about a complete reworking of those sentences.
Yep, make those sentences flow naturally. Next, and this is key, add personality and humor. Let your unique voice shine through. The guide stresses that the best viral videos feel authentic and conversational, not stiff and scripted.
So if my video is about, say, saving money, I shouldn't be afraid to throw in a joke about my own terrible spending habit.
Exactly. Make it relatable. A little self-deprecating humor can go a long way.
I can do that. What's number 3?
Number 3 is all about injecting your own perspective. Don't just rehash the information. Share your own experiences, your insights, your opinions. That's what makes your content unique.
So it's not about being an expert, it's about being real and sharing your own journey, even if you're still figuring things out along the way.
Authenticity is key. And finally, the guide suggests adjusting the structure of the video if you need to. Maybe the original video rambles a bit or the punchline falls flat. You have the power to make your version tighter, clearer, and even more engaging.
I'm starting to get really excited about this rewriting process. But what if, writing isn't my strong suit? Can AI lend a hand here too?
Absolutely. The guide recommends using ChatGPT, which is a super powerful AI tool, to help with the rewriting process. You can just copy and paste your transcript into ChatGPT and give it some instructions like rewrite this script in a more conversational and engaging style. And bam, it'll generate different options for you.
So it's like having an AI writing partner. I like it. But before we move on to the next step, which I'm guessing is recording the voiceover, we need to format our script correctly for the AI, Russ.
That's right. The guide suggests some formatting tips to make the recording process smoother. Break up those long paragraphs into shorter lines, add pauses where you want the AI voice to breathe, things like that.
So it's almost like writing a script for a play. But instead of actors, we have AI voices bringing our words to life. This is getting interesting. I'm ready to hear more about these AI voiceovers.
Yeah.
How realistic are they? Do they actually sound like real people?
You're not going to believe this. It really is kind of mind-blowing how realistic they've become. Chapter 3 of this guide is all about AI voiceovers, and, well, it's amazing. You can actually create professional-sounding narrations without ever needing a microphone. Can you imagine?
That would be a dream come true for someone like me who, isn't exactly a fan of hearing their own voice on recordings. Plus, it would save so much time and hassle. But okay, let's be real. With so many AI voice generators out there, how do we even know where to start? Which one is the best?
Well, the guide actually breaks down some of the top contenders and helps you figure out, which one might be the best fit for your needs and, of course, your budget. Like, if you're looking for super lifelike AI voices that can even, convey emotions, 11 Lamps is a great option.
Wait, hold on. AI voices that can express emotions, that's getting a little too sci-fi for me. How does that even work?
Right. It's crazy. The technology's come such a long way. These AI voices can actually sound incredibly human. They can adjust their tone and pace and even add these subtle inflections to make the narration sound more engaging and believable. It's wild.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. Are there any other options?
Definitely. The guide also mentions Speechelo. It's a bit more budget-friendly, especially if you're just starting out. And then there's Play.ht, which is cool because it offers a ton of different accents and styles. So you can choose a voice that really matches your content.
Oh, that's cool. So I could create a travel vlog with a British narrator or a business presentation with a voice that sounds like, Morgan Freeman. The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right voice for your brand. But let's not get too carried away just yet. Once you've chosen your AI voice tool and, you have that perfectly formatted script we talked about, you're ready to feed it to the AI and let it work its magic.
Right. By perfectly formatted, we're talking about those short sentences, strategic pauses, maybe even some highlighted words for emphasis, right? It's all about making the AI voiceover sound as natural and engaging as possible.
You got it. It's amazing how those little details can really make a huge difference in the final product. The guide even shows some examples of poorly formatted scripts versus well-formatted ones, and it's clear how much more engaging those well-formatted ones sound. It's worth taking the extra time to get it right.
I bet. No one wants their video to sound like a boring textbook. But, okay, how do we make sure our AI voiceover doesn't sound too robotic or monotone? I've heard some AI voices that sound pretty unnatural.
Oh yeah, that's a valid concern, and the guide addresses that. The key is to really fine-tune the AI voiceover by adjusting things like the speed, the pitch, the emphasis. Really play around with it. You can even experiment with different voices to see which one sounds best for your content.
So it's like having a sound engineer built right into the software. You can customize it to get the exact effect you want.
That's cool. Okay, so let's say we've created our awesome AI voiceover. Now what? Where do we go from there?
Well, most of these AI voice tools allow you to download the voiceover as an audio file, like an MP3 or a WAV. The guide recommends saving it in your project folder along with your script and, any other assets just to keep everything organized.
Organization is key, especially when you're dealing with so many files and different software programs. But speaking of software, we can't forget about the visual side of things, right? We talked about AI avatars earlier, but I'm curious to learn more about how they fit into all of this. Are they actually necessary?
Great question. Chapter 4 goes deeper into the world of AI avatars, and let me tell you, they can really take your videos to the next level.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So we're not just talking about static images or those basic cartoon avatars, right? Not at all. We're talking about dynamic, expressive avatars that can actually blink, smile, even gesture. while they deliver your AI-generated script. It's pretty wild.
Whoa, hold on. AI avatars that can move and gesture? That's incredible. I'm picturing those super lifelike video game characters. Is that what we're talking about here?
It's similar, yeah. The technology is advancing so quickly, and the guide talks about how beneficial these AI avatars can be, especially for those who are, camera shy. It's like having a digital spokesperson who can represent your brand without you ever having to, actually be on camera.
I can see how that would be a game changer for someone who's not comfortable being on camera or maybe just doesn't have the time or resources for filming. But okay, do you absolutely need an AI avatar to be successful on YouTube or TikTok? Or is it more of an optional thing?
Well, the guide addresses that directly, and it's interesting. It says that while AI avatars aren't absolutely necessary, they can definitely give you a competitive edge. Like, if you're creating simple slideshow-style videos, you might be able to get away with just text, stock footage, and basic animations.
So AI avatars are more like a secret weapon for those who really want to stand out and create a more visually engaging experience.
Exactly. They can make your videos more dynamic, more professional, and definitely more memorable. And the guide even suggests some specific AI avatar tools like HeyGen and Synthesia that make it super easy to create these, digital presenters.
Okay, I'm convinced AI avatars are cool, but how do we choose the right one? There are so many options out there, it's kind of overwhelming.
The guide says the most important thing is to choose an AI avatar that really aligns with your content and brand personality. Like if you're creating educational content, you might want a more formal and authoritative avatar. But if you're making fun, lighthearted videos, you might go for a more casual and expressive avatar.
It's like casting an actor for a role, right? We need to find the perfect digital personality to represent our brand.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, once you've chosen your AI avatar, most platforms allow you to customize their appearance. You can change their clothing, their hairstyle, even their facial expressions.
So we can really tailor the AI avatar to match our brand's aesthetic. I love that. But okay, once we have our perfectly styled avatar, how do we make it talk? Do we need to hire a voice actor?
Nope. That's where AI voiceover comes in. Remember that awesome voiceover we created earlier? Well, the guide explains how to sync that voiceover with your avatar. Most of these tools have a really simple interface, so you can just drag and drop your audio file and match it up with the avatar's lip movements. It's pretty seamless.
So it's like a high-tech puppet show. We get to control the movements and the voice of our little digital actor. How fun is that?
It's pretty cool. And the guide really stresses the importance of, getting those details right. You want the lip syncing to look natural. You want the facial expressions to match the tone of the voiceover.
Right, we don't want our AI avatar looking like it's reading off cue cards or delivering a hostage message. We need it to be believable and engaging.
Exactly. It's those small details that can really make a big difference in the quality of your video.
Yeah.
And once you're happy with how your AI avatar is talking and moving, you could just export the video and get ready to integrate it into your main project.
So we're basically taking that talking, gesturing AI avatar video and dropping it into our video editor along with any other footage, graphics, or text we want to include.
Exactly. And the guide recommends exporting that AI avatar video in the highest resolution possible just to maintain that professional look and, avoid any pixelation or anything like that.
Quality over quantity. Okay, so we have our AI avatar, our AI voiceover, and all our other visual elements ready to go. Now it's finally time to edit everything together, right? Bring on the video editing software.
You read my mind. Chapter 5 is all about editing like a pro, even if you're a total beginner. It starts by recommending some specific video editing software based on, your skill level and your budget. Like for beginners, CapCut is a great option because it's free, easy to use, and designed specifically for short-form content.
Right, but for those who want more features and more control, there's DaVinci Resolve, which is also free, but maybe a bit more complex. And then there's Adobe Premiere Pro, which is like the industry standard, but it does come with a subscription fee.
You got it. So many options to choose from. It's great that there's something out there for everyone, but regardless of which software you choose, the goal is the same, right? We want to create a video that grabs attention and keeps people watching. How do we achieve that?
Yeah, how do we make sure our videos are actually engaging? I'm all ears.
The guide talks a lot about the importance of cutting and tightening, getting rid of any dead air or unnecessary footage. It's like sculpting. You're chiseling away at the raw material to reveal the masterpiece underneath.
So basically, we're getting rid of those awkward pauses, any unnecessary words, anything that doesn't add to the flow and energy of the video. We're being ruthless editors.
Exactly. No one wants to watch a video that drags on forever. The guide also suggests using jump cuts to, transition quickly between different shots and changing camera angles frequently to keep things visually interesting.
So it's not just about what we're saying, it's also about how we're showing it. We need to create that dynamic visual experience that's going to keep people hooked, even on platforms like TikTok, where there's so much competition for attention.
Exactly. It's a visual world out there. Now, let's talk transitions. The guide suggests using smooth transitions to connect your different clips, but be careful not to go overboard with all those, fancy effects.
Right, we're not trying to create a PowerPoint presentation from the 90s. We want it to look modern and professional, not cheesy and distracting.
Definitely. The guide recommends sticking with those simple, clean transitions like hard cuts, fades, zooms. Those are timeless. And speaking of not distracting, we can't forget about captions.
Captions are a must-have, especially with so many people watching videos on their phones with the sound off. It's like we're creating two versions of the video at the same time, one for those who can hear and one for those who can't.
That's a great way to think about it. And the cool thing is, some video editing software, like CapCut, actually has a built-in auto caption feature. Saves you a ton of time.
Technology is amazing. Okay, so we've covered the visuals, the cutting, the tightening, the transitions, the captions. What about audio? Should we be adding music, sound effects, or is that overkill?
Adding music and sound effects can definitely elevate your video, but the guide says to use them strategically. Good background music can set the mood and make it feel more professional, but you don't want it to overpower the voiceover.
And where do we even find good music and sound effects? I don't want to get in trouble for using copyrighted material.
Don't worry, there are tons of royalty-free music libraries out there, like the YouTube Audio Library or Pixabay Music. And if you're willing to pay a little bit, there are subscription services like Epidemic Sound that offer an even wider selection. But the key is to use these elements sparingly and purposefully.
So we're not just throwing in random sound effects for the sake of it. We're using them to enhance the viewing experience.
Got it. Okay, so we've edited our video, added music, and now we're ready to export it and upload it, right?
Almost. Before you hit that export button, the guide reminds us to optimize the video for whatever platform we're uploading to. YouTube Shorts has different requirements than TikTok, so we need to make sure we're using the correct resolution, frame rate, and file format.
Ah, the technical details. It's important to get those right. But speaking of optimization, we can't forget about the title, the hashtags, and the thumbnail. Those are super important for getting our video seen right.
You got it. The guide dedicates a whole section to optimizing those elements. They can make or break your video. Okay, let's break it down. First up, the title. What makes a good title? Should it be clever? Straightforward? What's the secret formula?
The guide says the best titles are those that grab attention while also accurately describing what the video is about. Like, this AI tool will change your life, or 3 secrets to making money on TikTok.
Ooh, I like those. They're catchy. But I'm guessing the title is just the first hurdle. We also need a good description, right?
Absolutely. The description is your chance to give more context, use relevant keywords, and encourage people to actually watch your video.
So it's not just a summary. It's an opportunity to really sell our video and make it stand out.
Exactly. The guide even suggests including timestamps in the description for longer videos so people can easily jump to the parts they're most interested in.
That's a smart strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our title, our description, and now for the hashtags. I know hashtags are important, but I'm always a little confused about how to use them effectively.
Hashtags are like keywords that help people find your video when they're searching for specific topics. The guide suggests using a mix of general and niche-specific hashtags to, cast a wider net.
So if my video is about, say, personal finance, I might use general hashtags like hashtag personal finance and hashtag money tips, but also more specific hashtags like hashtag budgeting or hashtag investing.
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot. But don't go overboard with the hashtags. The guide says to stick to 3 to 5 relevant ones. Otherwise, it starts to look a little spammy.
Right, we want to attract viewers, not scare them away.
Mm.
Okay, so we have our title, our description, our hashtags, and now for the most important element of all, the thumbnail. I feel like the thumbnail is make or break because it's the first thing people see. If it's not eye-catching, they're going to scroll right past our video.
You're so right. The thumbnail is like the cover of a book. It needs to grab attention and make people curious.
So, what are the key ingredients for a great thumbnail? Are we talking high-quality photos, bold text, maybe even a little bit of mystery?
The guide suggests using bright colors, compelling images, and text that clearly conveys the benefit of watching the video. It even recommends using Canva, which is a really user-friendly design tool, to create those eye-catching thumbnails.
I love Canva. It's so easy to use. Okay, so we've optimized our title, our description, our hashtags, and our thumbnail. We're finally ready to upload, right? Let's hit that button.
Not so fast. There's one more crucial element we need to consider. Timing.
Timing. I never thought about that. Does it really matter when we upload our videos? I figure people are online all the time these days.
It might seem that way, but the guide says that timing can make a huge difference in how many people actually see your video. It actually provides insights into the best posting times for YouTube Shorts and TikTok based on, when people are most likely to be online and scrolling through their feeds.
So we're not just uploading whenever we feel like it. We're strategically choosing times when our target audience is most likely to be online and, ready to engage with our content.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing our chances of going viral. Okay, so we've edited our video, we've optimized it, and we're ready to upload it at the perfect time. Now what? We just sit back and watch the views roll in.
Right. And hopefully the likes and comments too. But then what? How do we turn those views into actual income? That's the ultimate goal, right?
That's where the real fun begins. Chapter 7 takes us into the exciting world of monetization. And let me tell you, it goes way beyond just relying on ad revenue.
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill the secrets.
Yes.
How do we make money from faceless content?
Well, first, let's talk about ad revenue. While it can be a source of income, the guide emphasizes that it shouldn't be your sole focus. It's unpredictable, and it's often not enough to, really create a sustainable income stream.
So what are the alternatives? What else can we do to monetize our videos?
The guide outlines several options. For example, if you've built a decent following in a specific niche, you could explore brand sponsorships.
Brand sponsorships, I've seen those on big YouTube channels, but I never really understood how they worked.
It's actually pretty simple. Imagine you have a channel about, healthy cooking, and a company that makes organic ingredients reaches out and offers to pay you to feature their products in your next video.
So we're essentially getting paid to recommend products that we already use and love. This sounds pretty sweet.
It is. And the guide says that even smaller channels, with just a few thousand followers, can start securing brand sponsorships. It's all about finding those brands that align with your niche and your audience.
Okay, brand sponsorships. What else is there? I'm ready to diversify those income streams.
Another popular option is affiliate marketing. That's where you partner with brands and earn a commission for every sale you generate through your unique affiliate links.
So let's say I have a channel about travel, and I recommend a specific travel backpack in my video. If someone clicks my affiliate link and buys that backpack, I get a cut of the sale.
Exactly. It's a win-win because you're getting rewarded for sharing valuable recommendations with your audience, and the brand is getting more exposure and hopefully more sales. The guide even mentions that some creators make more money from affiliate marketing than they do from ads.
Wow, seriously, that's pretty amazing. And then, of course, there's always the option of creating and selling our own products, right?
You got it. You could offer merchandise, online courses, ebooks, digital downloads, whatever makes sense for your niche.
So many possibilities. It's inspiring to think about building a whole business from something as simple as creating videos. But let's be real, not every creator is going to be a millionaire. What does the guide say about the difference between those who succeed and those who, don't?
That's a great question. Chapter 8 focuses on the habits and mindsets of those successful creators. And it stresses that success isn't about luck. It's about, really creating a solid business strategy.
So it's not just about creating one viral video and then hoping for the best. We need to have a plan, a long-term plan.
You got it. The guide highlights 4 key factors that successful creators have in common: consistency, experimentation, optimization, and, that all-important patience.
I'm glad you mentioned patience. It's so easy to get discouraged when you don't see results immediately. But building a loyal audience and a thriving brand takes time, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And the guide encourages creators to track their results and always look for ways to improve. What kind of videos perform best? What keeps viewers engaged? Which titles and thumbnails get the most clicks? It's all about the data.
It sounds like we need to become data detectives, uncovering the secrets to what makes a video go viral. We need to analyze those clues and use them to refine our strategies.
Exactly. And the guide emphasizes that this is an ongoing process. You never stop learning and growing.
I love that. It means there's always room for improvement, always a new challenge to tackle. Okay, so we've covered monetization strategies, the habits of successful creators, and the importance of, really analyzing our results. What's next? What are the actionable steps we can take to start building this faceless content empire?
That's where Chapter 9 comes in. It's like the grand finale. It brings everything together and gives you a clear roadmap to success, specifically for those who want to make money online without being on camera. It's all laid out for you.
I love a good roadmap. So tell me, what's the first step on this journey to faceless content domination?
The guide keeps it simple. The very first step is to create your first video. Stop overthinking it. Stop procrastinating. Just hit record and get it done. Perfection is the enemy of progress.
Just do it. I love that. What about after that first video? What's next?
The guide challenges you to upload consistently for at least 30 days. The more you upload, the more data you gather, and the better you'll understand what your audience actually wants to see.
So it's like a 30-day challenge to build momentum and establish a consistent posting schedule. Okay, I'm in. But what happens after those 30 days? What then?
That's when you start digging into the data and analyzing those results. Which videos did well? What can you learn from the ones that didn't? Become a data detective, and use those clues to refine your content and your overall strategy.
I'm starting to feel like Sherlock Holmes of the YouTube algorithm. This is fun. And as we start getting some traction, building an audience, the guide recommends exploring those different monetization options, right? Brand sponsorships, affiliate marketing, maybe even creating our own product.
Exactly. It's all about diversifying those income streams and building a sustainable business that can actually support you. You might apply for YouTube's partner program, join some affiliate networks, or even, like you said, create your own products or services.
So many options. It's exciting to think about building a real business from something as, seemingly simple as creating videos. But I can imagine it can also get pretty overwhelming, especially if you're doing it all by yourself.
Yeah, as your channel grows, the workload can definitely increase. That's why the guide talks about the importance of, scaling up and automating your processes as you go.
What do you mean by scaling up and automating? Give me some examples.
Well, it could involve hiring freelancers to help with, tasks like editing or using AI tools to streamline your workflow. You could even delegate certain responsibilities to virtual assistants. It's all about working smarter, not harder, so you can focus on creating the best content possible.
I like that. Working smarter, not harder. That should be everyone's motto. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, but I want to circle back to the big question. Can you really make a good living from faceless content? Is it all hype, or is there real potential here?
The guide's answer is a resounding yes. But, and this is important, it's not about get-rich-quick schemes or overnight success. It takes effort, consistency, a willingness to learn, and yes, a whole lot of patience.
I appreciate the honesty. It's inspiring to know that regular people are out there building successful online businesses, even without ever showing their faces. It really is a new era.
It really is. This guide gives you the knowledge and the tools to create your own path to success. It's all there for you.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've learned so much about, leveraging viral content, using AI, creating engaging videos, and building a sustainable business. But before we wrap things up, I have one more question. What does the guide say about those specific challenges and opportunities for, us West Virginia entrepreneurs?
That's a great question. And actually, the guide has a whole chapter dedicated to exploring how those of us in West Virginia can use these strategies to be successful. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me, what makes West Virginia unique in this world of faceless content creation? What advantages do we have?
Well, one of the biggest advantages is the cost of living here in West Virginia.
Yeah.
It's significantly lower than in, big cities, which means you can stretch your budget further.
Right, so lower overhead means more potential profit. That makes sense? And of course, since we're talking about online businesses, location is becoming less and less of a barrier. You can reach a global audience from anywhere, even West Virginia.
Exactly. You're not limited by your physical location. What's also cool is that the guide talks about this growing community of creators here in West Virginia. So there's this support system, a network of people who understand the challenges and can share ideas and resources.
It's like we have our own little entrepreneurial hub right here in the Mountain State. But, okay, let's be realistic. With every opportunity, there are also challenges. What are some of the hurdles that West Virginia creators might face?
That's a good point. One of the biggest challenges, according to the guide, is access to reliable high-speed internet, especially in more rural areas. That's definitely something that needs to be addressed if we want to see more digital entrepreneurs thrive here in West Virginia.
I agree. Reliable internet is essential for any online business. What else does the guide mention?
It also talks about the challenge of, really building awareness and attracting a global audience when you're located in a state that's, let's face it, often overlooked.
Yeah.
We need to change that perception and show the world what West Virginia creators are capable of.
It's like we need to put West Virginia on the map as a hub for digital innovation and creativity.
Exactly. But despite these challenges, the guide is super optimistic about the future of digital entrepreneurship in West Virginia. It emphasizes that with the right resources, a supportive community, and, a little bit of that West Virginia grit, anything is possible.
I love that. West Virginia grit. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've gone from the technical aspects of AI voiceovers and avatars to the more strategic elements of monetization and marketing. But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to the guide's overall message. What's the key takeaway here?
The key takeaway is that faceless content creation is more than just a trend. It's a fundamental shift in how we create and consume content online. It's about empowering individuals to build businesses, share their knowledge, and connect with the world, all without having to be on camera. It's pretty powerful stuff.
It's like we're breaking down those traditional barriers and making content creation accessible to everyone. That's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the guide reminds us that all the tools and strategies are out there, but the real magic happens when we take action, experiment, and never stop learning. It's all about taking that first step and seeing where it leads you.
It's about embracing the power of technology while also recognizing the importance of, human creativity, strategy, and that entrepreneurial spirit.
Absolutely. And, the guide also encourages us to connect with other creators, build those supportive communities, and share knowledge and inspiration along the way. It's a journey we can take together.
I love that. Okay, before we get too philosophical here, I have a question that's been nagging at me. What about copyright issues? I'm a little nervous about, accidentally using someone else's content without permission. I don't want to get into any legal trouble.
That's a smart concern. And the guide actually addresses that head on. It's all about understanding that fine line between inspiration and, straight up plagiarism. We got to be careful.
Okay, so how do we make sure we're staying on the right side of the law and not stepping on anyone's toes? Give me the guidelines.
Remember that term we talked about earlier, content repurposing? Well, it's not about just copying someone else's video. It's about taking an idea, a concept, a structure, and transforming it into something completely new and unique.
So it's like taking the blueprint of a house and building something totally different with it. We're using the same basic structure, but adding our own design elements, layout, personal touches. It's a whole new creation.
Exactly. The guide really stresses that your rewritten script needs to be substantially different from the original. Change the wording, the sentence structure, the examples, the jokes, everything. It needs to be your voice, your brand, your unique perspective. It needs to be undeniably yours.
Okay, so it's not just about swapping out a few words here and there. We're talking about a complete creative overhaul.
You got it. And to be extra safe, the guide even recommends running your rewritten script through a plagiarism checker, just to be sure.
That's a good tip. Better safe than sorry. And what about using footage or music from other videos? Are there any rules about that?
The guide is very clear about that.
Yeah.
Using someone else's footage or music without permission is a big no-no. It's a surefire way to get your video taken down, or even worse, face legal action. No one wants that.
Okay, so we're sticking to royalty-free music, stock footage, or creating our own visuals. Got it. But what about fair use? I've heard that term thrown around in relation to copyright, but I'm not really sure what it means.
Fair use is this legal doctrine that allows limited use of copyrighted material without needing permission from the copyright holder. But it's a complicated area, and the guide basically says to be super careful. When in doubt, don't use it.
So no using clips from our favorite movies or TV shows unless we have permission. Bummer.
Yeah, unless you're creating a parody or commentary, it's best to steer clear of copyrighted material. Stick to original content, use those royalty-free resources, and always double-check those terms of use before incorporating anything into your videos. It's not worth the risk.
This guide is like a legal lifesaver for content creators. Okay, I'm feeling a lot more confident about navigating those copyright issues. But shifting gears a bit, what was the biggest takeaway for you? What really resonated with you as you were reading this guide?
Honestly, it was the emphasis on action. So many guides get bogged down in theory and jargon, but this one is laser focused on practical steps you can take right now, today, to start building your online business. It's all about taking action.
I agree. It's so refreshing to find a guide that doesn't just tell you what to do, but actually shows you how to do it step by step. It feels very empowering.
Exactly. It breaks everything down into these manageable chunks, gives clear instructions, and even recommends specific tools and resources. It removes the guesswork and makes the whole process feel a lot less intimidating.
I also really liked how the guide focuses on building a sustainable business, not just chasing viral fame. It's about creating valuable content, building a loyal audience, and creating a brand that can actually last. That's what I'm all about.
That's such an important point. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about creating something meaningful that you can be proud of. And the guide doesn't shy away from the hard work involved. It acknowledges that building a successful YouTube or TikTok channel takes effort, consistency, and a willingness to, constantly adapt and evolve.
It's like the guide is saying, look, this isn't a magic bullet, but if you're willing to put in the work, the rewards can be incredible.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this guide so valuable. It's honest, realistic, and packed with practical advice that can actually change your life, if you let it.
I love that. So before we wrap things up, I want to touch on something we mentioned earlier, the advice specifically for West Virginia creators. What were your thoughts on that section of the guide? Anything jump out at you?
Well, it was interesting how the guide pointed out that West Virginia, even though it's often overlooked, actually has some unique advantages for digital entrepreneurs, like the lower cost of living and doing business here. That can make a big difference, especially when you're first starting out.
So lower expenses, potentially higher profits, makes sense. And, since we're talking about online businesses, location is becoming less and less important. You can literally build a global audience from anywhere, even West Virginia, as long as you have a good internet connection.
Exactly. Your reach isn't limited by where you live anymore. You can connect with people all over the world right from your home office.
It's amazing how technology is breaking down those geographical barriers. But the guide also talks about the challenges, right? What are some of the hurdles that West Virginia creators might face?
Right. There are always two sides to every coin. One of the biggest challenges the guide highlighted was access to reliable, high-speed internet, especially in those more rural parts of the state.
That's a valid point. It's hard to run an online business if you're constantly battling slow internet speeds or dropped connections.
Absolutely. And another challenge the guide mentioned was the need to, really raise awareness and attract that global audience when you're in a state that's, well, let's be honest, not always seen as a hub for digital innovation.
So it's about changing that perception, showcasing the talent and creativity that's already here in West Virginia, and proving that you don't have to be in a big city to succeed online.
Exactly. We need to put West Virginia on the map as a place where digital entrepreneurs can thrive.
I love that. We need to start a movement. But, okay, despite these challenges, the guide seems pretty optimistic about the future of digital entrepreneurship in West Virginia. What's the overall message there?
The guide emphasizes that the potential for success is huge, especially with the resources that are becoming available, the growing sense of community among creators, and, that West Virginia spirit of hard work and determination.
I love that West Virginia spirit. It's inspiring to see how this guide not only gives you the practical tools, but also that encouragement and sense of community. It's like we're all in this together.
Exactly. It's a journey, and it's better when you have others to share it with.
Well said. This deep dive has been a whirlwind of information and inspiration. We've explored the world of faceless content creation, the power of AI, the strategies for building a sustainable online business, and the unique opportunities here in West Virginia.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
From finding viral inspiration to rewriting scripts, creating those AI voiceovers and avatars, editing like professionals, and even tackling those tricky copyright issues. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And if there's one thing I hope our listeners take away from this deep dive, it's that faceless content creation is more than just a passing trend. It's a movement, a revolution that's empowering individuals to share their voices, build their dreams, and create a future where they're not limited by location or, camera shyness.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about breaking down those barriers and making content creation accessible to everyone.
It really is. So to all our listeners out there, what are you waiting for? The world of faceless content creation is waiting. Dive in, experiment, create, and never stop learning.
This is The Deep Dive signing off.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. The West Virginia Media Lab is all about celebrating our state and its people, businesses, stories, news, and folklore. If you love West Virginia like we do, be sure to comment below, then subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay connected. Until next time,
Stay wild, wonderful, West Virginia.